everybody. What's up? Is live with April Diamond here on Hey Vegas TV. It's great to be back here at the Hey Vegas TV studios. And today I have a very special treat for you guys. A very special treat. You guys have seen Penn in movies on his comedy tour. You've seen him on Comedy Central. And if I tell you what it is, I'm going to give away who it is. But let's give it away. Everybody give it up for the one, the only Carlos Mencia. Yay! Yay!
I'm so excited. So excited.
You're your own,
I'm my own guy. My own shit about you could do this. Get excited. Get energy.
right?
I'm a very much energetic comedian. So yeah, I'm that switch guy. You guys really calm and really mellow, and then all of a sudden,
It goes.
yeah, I just my brain just goes just like I want to talk about this and I had this and then I just never want to stop
It
talking.
just keeps going.
Yeah, it never stops.
Well, I love that. And I was, when Richard introduced me to you and said, hey, you got to have this guy on your show. I'm like, of course I know who that is. Everyone knows Comedy Central, Linda Central. Yeah, that's what I was going to say a second ago. Linda Mencia, which is a really fun skip right show. It's awesome.
Some of those bits ahead of their time, man.
Right?
Those bits like people now watching it going, yeah, what was that? I was like, it was in 2000 and depending on the episode,
Yeah.
2004, 2005, 2006, 2000. Like, oh my God, that's, wait a minute. I remember doing a bit about the right and the left and how they see each other as caricatures and how that at the time people were like, I don't really get it. But now you can look back at it and go, oh man, he predicted that this was about to happen. So I kind of look back at it now with a different lens. Really excited. Yeah, it's cool.
Your jokes were kind of like, I said, what was coming.
Yeah, well, I saw the LGBTQ thing. I saw it coming.
Right.
I saw the women say, which is huge. And I haven't messed with. And what I mean by that is
Right.
there are more women in the electorate of the United States than men. So women could have outvoted men and put a female in charge of this country to be president, and yet it hasn't happened. Like the dynamic of being able to talk about that and make it funny and have women get mad. They go, what are you talking about? And then within the structures of the joke, they go, you're right. Women are catty and women do talk like that to each other. Women are, and you're right. And, it's so much, but it's cool to get underneath, right?
Yeah.
To make people laugh and yet get underneath that layer, to sink in the apple of truth, if you will. It's so rewarding.
Yeah, it's fun. And I think I was reading some commentary and looking up some old videos, and some people, that you actually went there. I saw some of the videos there talking about people getting offended a little bit about this or about that. But I think that's probably
The trickiest part for any comic, right, is you're going to make fun of things, people, places, whatever, life in general. You take that chance, right? Isn't there always taking that chance when you're making jokes?
Yeah, well, the trick is this. The trick is, as you know, there's a lot of hypocritical people out there. A lot of hypocritical people that will come to see a show and laugh when the joke is on others.
Sure.
And then respond negatively when it's on them.
You mean like when people make fun of my big hair and I'm like, that's okay, I own that?
Yeah,
or
good
whatever.
for you. Yeah.
Whatever they pick on me about, I think it's funny.
If you own it and you think it's funny,
I
it's
don't care.
cool. But there are people that get defensive. And that's when the
Yeah.
problem lies, where, you know,
Sure.
when, and comedians, we're the type where if you laugh, we'll just move on, right? Like if you were in the audience and I was like, oh my God, 80s hair, I loved it. I would come at it from a positive place, right? I would say, oh my God, you remind me of my Farrah Fawcett poster that I used to have up on my thing. Oh my God, this is awesome, right?
That was a million years ago, okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like if I did that and you were like, oh no, I don't look like that at all, I would go, okay, let's just get into this for a second. But
Yeah,
if
see,
you
that-
were to laugh,
that stuff
I'd just
would-
move on.
That would make me laugh. I would think that was funny.
Sure.
Like, the biggest hair, they used to make fun of like the big hair when they would hairspray and it would be after hair and people are like literally wearing that. I mean,
My
you're
mom used to
asking-
have the either what is called a beehive or a bouffant.
Yeah, that's the
I'm not sure, but I remember Aquanet. I remember Aquanet at my house, and my mother just
All the way up.
building that thing up, looking like Marge Simpson way back in the day. Yeah, it was
All the way
awesome.
up.
And that's the, talking about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of comedy, that we can relate through a moment of pleasure, a moment of like, hey,
Yeah.
remember this, remember that. And we can even take things that were painful when we
Right.
were kids. Oh, I remember when my mom, oh man, I remember when the lights went on and I didn't pay attention. And by the time I got home, my mom was like, the lights are on. Come here. It's like, oh, it was like a
You're
gauntlet.
in trouble.
Oh, you just had to kind of arch your back and know that there was going to be something coming at you as you walked in the door. Oh, here we go. Whoosh, okay, there it is.
Is that the shoe coming across the room?
One, it's a shoe, it's a wooden spoon, it's a belt, it's a, depending on how angry my mom was, like that's how you knew if my mom was angry or not. You know what I
Sure.
mean? If it was like if it was like one of those canvas belts that you used to, the cheapy ones that you used to run through and then clip down way back in the day, you're like, okay, as long as she doesn't hit me with the buckle, we're okay. But if she had like a coat hanger and she was bending it, you were like,
my
oh,
gosh, they can't
I
do-
pissed her off.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, she's mad. Yeah. So, but look, we can laugh at it now, and
Yeah.
I think that a big part of what's being lost in comedy today is that it's intended to just take those moments and bring levity to them. And so many people are taking the world in such a serious place, and so many of us in this country, especially, do not have perspective.
Right.
The beauty of being an immigrant and the beauty of being a comedian that has, enough money to travel
Sure.
is that you get to see the world and you get to see the world in a different way,
Right.
right? You get to see the world from the outside. And then when you start having to defend America, right? You're here and you're like, oh, America, it's so blah, blah, blah.
Right. We're
But then you go
opinionated.
somewhere else and all of a sudden foreigners are talking smack about America. Now all of a sudden it's like, wait, homie. Slow your
So
roll there,
true.
buddy. Slow your roll. Because
So true.
at that point, it's not us just being like, oh, dad's being an a-hole or mom's being a pain in my ass.
Sure.
It's now all of a sudden some foreigner telling me that my country sucks. And then it's almost like, but a lot of people need that.
Yeah.
I did something really interesting the other day. I have a friend who's very much stuck in the conspiracies of America and America's broken and all this stuff. So the other day, he kind of went off on a little diatribe and I
Sure.
recorded it. And then I recorded it and I gave that recording to a friend of mine who's an actor, but he's French, so he's a really thick French accent.
Okay.
I invited my friends, both of them, to all hang out and have some drinks. Well, in the middle of this, I told my buddy, my French buddy, like, when I give you the wink, I want you to say exactly what I gave you the speech.
Right.
And start. And he started giving that speech about America being broken, but it was with his accent. It is broken. Nothing works. Everything is inept. And also my other friend was like,
You do
dude,
that really good.
we have an issue, bro. We got a problem. And I looked at him and I said, you do realize that those are your words, right? And he went, wait. What are you talking about? Those are my words. Remember the other day? That's exactly what you said. I just had him memorize it, and I wanted you to hear it because I wanted you to hear what you sound like from a perspective of that. And he was like, dude, thank you, because I was mad. I was getting mad.
Yeah.
It's like, don't talk about my country like that. And I'm like, but that's how you're talking about our country. And so I think that being a comedian and being able to take those moments and kind of putting them on stage and showing the humor within them to have people go through moments of wow, I didn't look at it from that
Sure,
perspective.
yeah.
It's so important.
It does. Comedy really does kind of open us up to a bigger worldview of how we perceive ourselves, how other people perceive us. And, sometimes you need to laugh at yourself, honestly.
Yeah.
I got 4 brothers and a sister in my family. We have a huge family, and, everybody's making fun of each other all the time. So for me, like, I kind of call it being on the hot seat or whatever,
Sure.
the roasting of each other.
Yeah.
It wasn't like hateful. It was just
No.
like, we all laughed.
Yeah, because there was
We
none of
still
us that
do.
were perfect. Right?
Yeah.
None of your siblings are perfect.
No.
So there was something they could make fun of you about, but
All
there
day
was something
long.
you could make fun of them about.
Right.
And you kind of went back and forth and you laughed at it and you realized that liking somebody is different than loving somebody.
Right.
You can not like somebody and still love them.
Yeah.
Right? That's my family. But part of having so I'm one of 18 kids, but part of having such a
18
huge
kids?
family, my parents have 18 kids, but part
Wow.
of being one of 18 kids is that you learn that. that you learn that you don't have to agree.
Sure.
You know, you don't have to. But I
Well,
would die for my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Sure.
are there times when I'm having a party and I'm like, ugh, do I really want to invite them? Oh God, no, I don't.
We all feel like that
no,
sometimes.
you know, exactly. And
Yeah.
but I think that preparing ourselves for a world that is, as opposed to for a world that should be. I get it. There shouldn't be hate.
I get it. Yeah.
There
No, it's-
should be love. There
we
should be
able to laugh
understanding.
at
There should be
things.
comprehending. But that's not the way the world is.
Right.
You know, sometimes earlier today, I don't know why, I got up really early and I had something to do in the morning and I went to sleep and I was having this dream. And in this dream, I was thinking about how people react to comedy. And in my dream, I was writing jokes and creating about how, you know, people today just don't know how to take a joke. They don't know how to.
Yeah. I mean, I think that people are learning better now. I don't know. I think that comedy kind of puts us in the right space. I think you have to be, you know, in the moment. You know, sometimes people are having bad days, something terrible, you know, maybe has happened, and so it's kind of harder to laugh at it or whatever. But, you know, you give people some time and they can laugh at, you know, traumatic events or things like that. But I think we have to laugh. We have to laugh because if we don't, I mean, what's the option? We're going to get, you know, stuck in that kind of negative kind of rut, and we've got to lighten up the load a little bit mentally.
Well, you have to, and you have to see the humor in things. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I
nobody's
agree.
perfect, right?
Yeah.
I'm as good of a comedian as I am. You know, when I hang out with my friends, they catch me all the time, and they make fun of me all the time, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to have those kind of friendships. But a lot of that is missing because, you know, my son, my oldest son, who's 18 years old, one of his biggest problems is he's a lot like me. He's really funny and he, you know, makes jokes and pokes, but he's around people that take him very seriously, and they don't get that it's a joke, and they don't get that he's being funny, and you know, they're coming from upper middle class neighborhoods,
Yeah, I
whereas
understand.
to, you know, my son is one of the youngest of all his cousins. So he was the joke. He was the one they messed with.
I got you.
He was the kid that they poked fun at.
I see.
He was the slowest. He was not as intelligent because they were, you know, when you're 20, 30s, in your 40s, 2-year difference is nothing.
Yeah.
The difference between 41 and 43 is nothing.
Of course.
The difference between 13 and 15 is just ginormous.
I know. Why it is totally.
Isn't that so weird?
in society? It's definitely that.
And so
suddenly 15 is like I'm 15 and you're 13.
Right.
It's
So that's
rite
what
of
he
passage.
got.
Oh yeah.
So he got the 15-year-olds going, shut up, you're 13.
Yeah.
You don't get it. You know what I mean? And now that he's
We've all
18,
probably been through
they're
that.
like, we're already 21. You can't come because you can't drink with us. So he's gotten that his whole life.
Yeah.
So he kind of gives it back, but he gets
So-
in trouble in school sometimes. You know, because they're like, hey, he
stands
was
up.
saying this or he was saying that.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, well, was it mean or was it cruel? Well, no, but the person took offense. Well, you know what? He didn't say anything mean. So
Sure.
had he said something mean, I would have told him, you can't say that. But
Yeah.
he said something funny that somebody took the wrong way. But you and I can acknowledge that it wasn't a bad thing or it wasn't cruel. So I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right. Gotcha.
Because I'm not going to tell my son, don't say things that might be hurtful to somebody.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's hurtful
Have
or not.
manners, you
Come from a
know.
good, exactly.
Apologize.
Come from a good space in your heart.
Yeah.
Come from a beautiful place. And when they told me what he had said, I was like, there's nothing mean about that.
Sure.
I don't understand. Because
Right.
it was a trans person in his school that he asked, and it was a legit question. Like, are you trans gonna cut it off or trans gonna keep it? And I guess somebody got offended, is like, oh, how could you say that?
Yeah.
But to me, it was like, but there is that difference. There are transgendered females that are like, God gave me a penis, I'm keeping my penis, that's the way it is, but I'm a woman. And then there are the ones that are like, I hate that thing, get it off me immediately.
We got to all learn to live together in love.
Because
Just,
you know
you
what?
know,
Who cares?
We're different.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I remember so I have a younger brother, and he's a few years younger than me. So when I was 21, he was about 18ish, anyway, 17 or something like that. So I remember I was performing at the Comedy Store. I was big downtown. I was doing that whole Hollywood thing, and he would come to see my shows. So there's a place called Los Tacos on Santa Monica Boulevard, right in the middle of Boys Town. So we would go there. And I remember the first time we went there, this big old gay guy, I mean, big old, just very flamboyant, just kept staring at my brother. And he kind of whispers to me in anger, like, if that guy keeps staring at me, I'm gonna punch him in the face. And I'm laughing like, dude, take the compliment.
Yeah.
Somebody thinks you're attractive. Who cares? I said, look at it like this. Let's say a woman that you did not find attractive thought you were good looking. He goes, well, that's kind of cool. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what or who or they or them. Somebody thinks you're attractive.
Yeah.
And he was just in a bad space. Cut to, he's now going to be 50. And we went the other day to the same place.
Yeah.
And nobody hit on him. And I remember we got in the car and he goes, huh. And I went, what? And he goes, dude, nobody found me attractive, bro. What's wrong with me? And I was like, dude, thank you, God, full circle.
Yeah.
He finally got to a place.
Yeah.
Well, not finally, but now he's evolved to
He
a place
understands.
where
He
his
understands.
thing was, am I not attractive anymore? What's wrong with me? Am
Yeah,
I not that
exactly.
guy anymore?
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? This is where we should be.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I don't understand people that get mad because
Yeah.
somebody hits on him or something like that, or
we're all different. We're just all different. We come from different places, and
Yes.
and it's okay. And if you don't understand, then ask, what did you mean by that? I think that's a good transition, for somebody to like.
Well, as comedians, we're all different, and yet we're all bound by the same things in life, right?
Sure.
The sadness, the happiness,
Yeah.
the relationship, the problems, how do you deal with people?
Yeah.
All of that is real, and that's where we come in as comedians. Because think about it. When I tell a joke in front of whatever amount of people it is, doesn't matter how many people, and every single person in that audience is laughing at the same joke at the same time, that means that all of those people are experiencing the same exact feeling at the same exact moment, which makes them at that period of time all exactly the same.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And
Everybody's
that's-
kind of one in that moment. It's
Yes,
like singing is like that. When everybody sings together,
Yes.
because I'm a vocalist and I'm a voice coach,
Of
I'm a
course.
singer, whatever.
Of
When
course.
people sing together, all the differences don't seem to matter anymore.
It is the love and hate that everybody that loves karaoke has with karaoke.
Yeah.
It's the love-hate. The love, we get to sing songs.
Yeah.
We get to, especially those of us that do a lot of karaoke, we
Right.
get to try our range a little bit. We get to sing this type of song,
Yeah.
that type of song, a rap song, a high pitch, a
For
low
sure.
pitch. But it's the hate that we have and the love at the same time for Friends in Low Places, Tennessee Whiskey,
Yeah.
Sweet Caroline, Don't Stop Believing. That we're like, oh, you're really
Titanium.
gonna sing that song? But there's also the fun of everybody in that room
Yeah.
waking up and going, ba, 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 of everybody being in that. Oh my
Yeah.
God, sing us a song, you're the piano man. And everybody's in that same groove.
Woo.
There's something really cool about it, even
Yeah.
though there's like, ugh, this song again.
But here's the thing about karaoke. It's interesting to me, and I train people to sing too on my vocal coaching. It's interesting, and I tell my students this. Isn't it? People will listen to somebody sing the same song over and over again, and they want to say, okay, will you sing this song? And I'm thinking, why do you want to hear the same song after like 15, 20 years that song's been around, but you want to hear me sing it or somebody sing it again?
Right.
But people like it.
Yes.
They love that.
Yes.
And,
But it's that connective tissue.
yeah, exactly.
It's you know what?
It is,
It's
yeah.
the ratatouille moment that I call it, right? It's the moment where you
Sure.
see something, you smell something. I had
It's
one,
familiar.
and it just takes you back.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine, Gabe, took me by somewhere where they have horses somewhere
Mm-hmm.
near there. I didn't know that. All I remember is I got out of the car and I went, I smell horse sweat. And I immediately got taken into a time warp where I'm probably 8 years old. There's a little pony. My dad put me on the pony, and it kept jumping. And I didn't realize until I got older that my mom told me that my dad was poking it with a stick so it would jump off and toss me. But we were in grass, and my dad just wanted me to learn how to hang on and do all that stuff.
Of course.
But as comedians, we get to do that stuff. We get to tell jokes about growing up. And, you know, if I go up on stage and I do a nostalgic joke about playing Atari 5200, if that audience is of a certain age, they're all going to remember that. They're all going to remember a joke about, you guys have a controller with 6 buttons. We had 1 button, just 1 button, you know, and everybody laughing. And it's because they're living in that moment and going back to some period of time where we were just happy and so beautifully innocent, you know, whereas to, like I said to my 8-year-old son, I go, do you have any idea how lucky you are that from the age of 16, I took you off my parental thing and you have access to the internet? And he's like, what are you talking about, Dad? You know what I'm talking about, son. You're not restricted and you have access to that stuff. Be careful what you watch. But whereas I remember my generation waiting for the Sears catalog to show up and go to the bikini section. Oh my God, look at this chick, was so hot. I remember every summer, we looked so forward to that one dirty lifeguard. She knew that we were in you know, in the 6th, 7th, you know, 8th grades. She was in high school, but she made sure to not trim. And there was always like one little pubic hair kind of coming out on purpose. And we were all staring and walking by her really fast. And she knew. But it was like, you know, our thing. And
That's
so
those moments.
Yeah, talking about those moments, reliving those moments comedically existing in that time.
So
it's beautiful.
So let's talk a little bit about how you got started in comedy, because I think you have a degree in, I think I read about it in science.
Electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering. Okay, how do you go from electrical engineering to comedy?
So my brain was always formatted to think comedically.
Okay.
Okay. So we'd be at the dinner table and my uncle would say something that was just so contradictory to what he said the week before or something like that, that I was about to go, but wait a minute. And right before I would say something, I would hear my mom or feel my mother's presence or just kind of go, oh, somebody's. And I would look over and my mom would look at me and go, not here. Not now. And that was it. And that was my life as a child. Not here, not now. Not here, not now. Right? And then I discovered stand-up. It was when Fox became a network and Joan Rivers was hosting, and she had a lot of comedians. And that was the first time I discovered people doing stand-up. And I was working at Farmers Insurance, and I would go to Farmers and go, man, I saw this comedian, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and he said this and this and that. And then my girlfriend at the time, Lana, got tickets to go to the Improv. And so she's like, you want to go to the Improv? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I had to get a fake ID because it was 21 and over. But we went, and I remember seeing Paula Poundstone and Rick Dukeman. Those were the two that I remember. But I also remember going on the way out, kind of like a movie. There was a hallway, and I stopped in the middle of the hallway. And I literally stopped under a light, literally just like in a movie. And as people are going around me to exit, I just looked back to the stage, and I went, I could do that.
And the moment began.
I could do that because I have the angst that those guys had, especially Rick Dukeman, who did this bit about being angry, about being in line behind this old lady who wrote a check and then pulled out coupons and then blah, 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 and then, you know, that kind of whole thing. And I remember at that moment saying, I want to try stand-up. And what I discovered was the one place where my mother couldn't tell me no.
When you're standing up
Seriously.
there doing your comedy.
She said not
here.
She
could throw the shoe, though.
Not now. But she couldn't because
couldn't.
that was the right place and
True.
it was the right time. comedy was the right place. I'm in a comedy club.
Yeah.
And it was the right time because the show started.
That's true.
So this was the one place that my mother's, kryptonite did not affect Superman. And I just vomited. Because things that I thought of when I was a kid, like gangbangers. One of their pitches was, we have to protect the neighborhood. And my whole thing was, from who? We live in the crappiest part of LA. Nobody is taking this back.
Sure.
Nobody is invading the hood.
Yeah.
No rich people in America are gonna be like, we're taking back the ghetto. It's not happening.
Right.
But I couldn't say that around them or they'd get pissed. But I
Yeah.
couldn't say it around my mom because she
But
knew.
you can say it on a stage.
I could talk about it on stage. I could go on stage and go, these are the
Yeah.
idiots I grew up with who were protecting the neighborhood from nobody else, who hated white people but only shot Mexicans. And it was
Crazy.
crazy, and it never stopped.
Yeah.
And when that curiosity ends, that's when you stop being a comedian and then you start being a speaker of truths. We all go through these moments where we take ourselves seriously. Like if you follow, as example, one of my legendary heroes, George Carlin, there was actually one special that he did. I don't even remember what the name of it was, but he's literally performing in a cemetery, surrounded by epitaphs. Like that's his background. That's how dark that one was.
He was an interesting guy. He did speak a lot of truth, but
We sometimes go dark though.
Yeah,
and
sometimes-
that's a big fear.
That's true.
Because that's one of my biggest fears.
Yeah.
Right? That I get to a point where I've made people laugh so much that I go to a mental space of, you know what? I don't have to be funny anymore. I could just be poignant. And that is the worst thing that can happen to a comedian because that's when we just go dark. Dark. I mean, most comedians, once you give us the ability to write a show or write a movie especially, it gets really, really dark. I mean, look at, Jordan Peele. His movies are great, but they're dark, man.
Yeah, it's true.
They're not
That's
like
true.
happy-go-lucky. Hey, this is a comedian writing this
Not
stuff.
Happy Gilmore. It's something
No,
else.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that happens with us. So
Yeah.
when we get older as comedians, one of the biggest issues is stay happy, stay content.
Nice.
Don't be angry. Don't be bitter. Don't go up on stage and just, vomit your lemons on everybody because you just, you're not happy with your life and career. It happens all the time.
Yeah. Keep it on pace like the way that a good show should go and a good comedy set.
Yeah, just, you know what? Again, going back to one of my best friends, Gabe, when I get in those funks or he gets in the funks that we get into as human beings, one of the things he says to me is, hey, look, we don't have to do this, bro. We get to do this.
Nice. Yeah.
You don't have to perform tonight,
Right.
but you get to perform tonight. And that
like that.
reminds me, of the fact that, you know what, once I get on stage and once people start laughing and once people start, the comments in the middle for me are the ones, it's in the middle of all these jokes, you hear somebody go, oh my God, please stop, my stomach hurts, or,
Right.
oh geez, it's just, I need to take a breath, or, oh man, like those little comments are the ones that just feed me, because the laughter's always there.
Sure.
I'm always getting laughs, but that extra stuff just gives you that little bit of extra fuel.
Right.
That reminds me, I'm making a difference in the world. I'm changing the world. Maybe it's just one person,
I like that.
but how many people can say they change one person a day or a weekend? So I've been doing comedy since 1988. If I change one person a week, you multiply that times a year, times 52 weeks.
Nice.
And then all of a sudden you're coming up with hundreds, if not thousands of people. And that's just the most conservative estimate I can
Sure.
take. That's more than the average person will ever come close to. I get to do this.
I like that.
I get to exist in this world. And it's been
like
a
that.
very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful world. It's come with a lot of negatives as well, but everything does. And it's how
There's always the
it's
good
how
and
you
the
look,
bad.
exactly, and it's how you look at it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Comedy has given me way more than it's taken, and I'm happy with where I'm at right now, and I'm happy with where I'm going.
Yeah.
Which is more important than anything right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
And with that, we're going to take a quick break, you guys. We'll be back with Carlos Mencia here live with April Diamond on Hey Vegas TV. We'll be right back.